Cannot believe I watched a movie. Literally 12-year-old me is shaking. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I've got a different type of reaction and review video for you guys. So as everyone should know, after the movie just came out yesterday, April 12th, and I could not have been more excited. So this movie just came out, and I can tell you guys I've been waiting for this movie for 6 years. So I cannot believe I watched a movie. Literally 12-year-old me is shaking in her seat. She's shaking. So yeah, let's just get right into this review. Okay, so I started reading After when I was like 12. Yeah, 6 years. 6 years ago. I literally fell in love with the book. I started reading it when it was on Wattpad before it became an actual book. And then as soon as she said she was publishing it, I'm like, I have to get this book. Like, I have to. And I definitely fell in love with it. I think I've read this book like over 10 times. I just love it so much. And then she announced that she's going to be, there's going to be a movie for it. And the actual trailer dropped in February on Valentine's Day. And I was so excited for it. So I booked my tickets like as soon as I could and went to watch a movie. So I'm gonna let you guys know what I thought about it. I was gonna let you guys know like the relation to the book and stuff, like how well the movie went along with the book, and also like how well the characters related to the book and stuff like that, and basically my opinion on that. So stay tuned. Oh guys, don't forget, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched the movie yet, please go and watch it and then come back and watch my video later, because there's gonna be a lot of spoilers, so don't want to ruin it for you guys. Okay guys, so let's begin with my thoughts on the movie itself. So I definitely loved the movie as a whole. It was really cute and just like had little funny moments to it. Like little parts, I definitely was really worried because there's a lot of parts in the book where like it may seem cute in the book and stuff like that, but like if you were to see it on the screen, you'd be like, oh, it's kind of cringy. But they definitely changed that for the movie, and I didn't really find myself really cringing at any parts. There's stuff like, even like the lake scene and stuff, I would have been like, oh, that would probably be really cringy to watch. But they definitely changed that and made it like a lot better. I loved how like they didn't really do anything, and it was kind of just like more waiting for stuff to happen. And I definitely liked how they do that in the movie. I loved how they showcased the relationship throughout the entire movie. How it was kind of like just showing how their love started and like at the lake, and then it kept like going up and more, and they were just, I don't know how to explain it, like a time lapse almost, like just like, you know, like in movies where they show them together doing this and then doing this and doing that and blah 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 blah. They kind of like showed it like that. And I loved that. So like it was kind of like you just see their love like expanding through the movie, and I definitely love that. I was really curious how they were going to end the movie, because in the book it definitely ends just with the bet. So like it ends with Tessa finding out that their whole relationship was like a bet, and I was like, are they really gonna end the movie like that? And people who haven't read the book would kind of be like, oh, it's kind of like, why would they end it like that? But they definitely ended it in the best way. So like it ended how Tessa went back to the lake and Hardin came to the lake, and then like he was kind of reading it out into the screen, but like she was reading it in her head, Hardin's like thoughts on her, and then like he was like, you asked me once who I love most in the world. He's like, it's you. Yeah, I loved how they ended it like that. Like, I really wanted to cry. I was like, oh my gosh, the movie. I actually just watched this entire book on screen. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the movie itself. Now I'm gonna go into my thoughts on how well they showed the book in the movie and how similar they are. There are definitely a lot of differences in the movie as in the book, so I definitely wrote them all down and I'm gonna talk about them. So the first one that was a difference, in the book Tessa met Hardin on the first day of school, but in the movie they changed that and they made it the scene where Tessa went to go shower and then she dropped her clothes in the shower or whatever, and they all got soaked, so she has to go back to her room in the towel still. And then she opened up her closet where there was a mirror and then saw Hardin behind her sitting on her bed, and then that was the first time I believe that they met in the movie, and I definitely liked that a lot better. It was kind of funny. I think it was funny, and she's like, can you get out, I need to change. Also, another big difference, when she first lost her virginity to him. In the book it was just a random night, but in the movie I like this a lot better, how they did it after the wedding. So after Hardin's father's and Karen's wedding. I felt like that was a lot better. Like it seemed a lot more cute and like romantic-ish. Also, the bet was extremely different in the movie than it was in the book. In the book, the bet seemed a lot more serious than they really showed it in the movie. In the movie, it was kind of just, they showed the video of Hardin. After Tessa left, she's like, I'm done playing this game. And then Hardin's like, I bet you guys I can make her fall in love with me. And then just like that, it's off or something. I don't really understand the just like that it's off. Did he mean like just like that my love is off, or like it's just done? In the book, it was a lot more serious. First, it was Zed who was involved as well as Hardin. So they both had the idea, and it was supposed to be a bet on money, on just her virginity, not like making her fall in love with him. It was supposed to be just be like, I can get her to sleep with me. And then after they had sex, he took the sheets and the condom and showed them. And then Molly rubbed it in her face after when they confronted her about it. Whereas in the movie, it was kind of just, Molly showed her the video of him saying, just like that, I can make her fall in love with me. And then that was really it. So I think they really like dimmed it down a lot in the movie, which I definitely think I liked better because I feel like it was a bit too much in the book. In the movie, they kind of just simmered it down a bit and made it more forgivable. And in the books, what happened was something that like, I don't know how she ended up forgiving him later in the second book. Yeah, that was extremely different. In the book, Hardin is more destructive than he is in the movie. Also, the thing that was really different that I didn't really like, in the movie, Hardin's dad was giving a speech at the wedding, toasting to like both his sons and saying how Hardin used to read and all this stuff. When originally that happened at some dinner they were having, but they decided to put that part in at the wedding. And I was wondering, I'm like, oh, is Hardin gonna burst out now? I'm like, why would they do that at the wedding? Like, that's so hard to come back from. But he didn't. Instead, he kind of just burst a bit to Tessa and was like, this guy's not my father was a drunk. And he basically told the story when originally this story was at Tessa and Hardin's house, which I'm gonna go into after. But he told the story about how his dad went to the bar and started drinking and then got in a fight with these guys. And instead of coming home, his dad went somewhere else, and those guys came to Hardin's house to look for Hardin's dad. And instead they found Hardin's mom asleep on the couch, and they kind of just insinuated that they assaulted her, and Hardin was trying to fight them off and stuff like that. And he told Tessa that at the wedding, which I find was kind of weird because I'm like, I don't know who would really like go into something deep like that in the middle of a wedding while his dad's giving a speech. I kind of liked how they did that scene at the house in the book. I felt like that was more intimate. Also, something that was extremely different was the fact that Tessa and Hardin owned their own house in the book, but in the movie, they were just staying at one of Hardin's dad's friend's house. Basically, I don't know which one I really liked better. I feel like they both kind of fit for the movie and for the book. So how they changed it for the movie, I think fit for the movie, because in the movie it was just borrowing from a friend of Hardin's father's, which made more sense because they were just in a relationship, and then out of nowhere he brought her to the house and showed her. I'm like, he's not just gonna say that I bought you a house or whatever. I'm like, that would be kind of weird. Because like in the movie, it seemed like the relationship wasn't as long as it was in the book. How in the book, before they moved in, I think it was like 3 months after I think it was like about 3 months after they met, and they went through so much in the book, so it kind of didn't seem like that big of a deal that they were moving into an apartment together. Whereas if they did that in the movie, it would be like, okay, like you really just met this guy, that's really weird. But I feel like both things kind of matched for the movie as well. The other one kind of matched for the book. Also, I was wondering how they were gonna do this, because when I first seen the movie, it was like PG or PG-13. I'm like, the book definitely is not. Basically all the graphic like sex scenes and stuff that they have in the book, I was wondering if they were really gonna show those in the movie, which they didn't, so I liked that. They kind of made them more PG and more intimate. Also, in the book they ended at the bet, but in the movie they kind of went further past the end of this book and kind of went a little bit over it, but changed how the ending was. They ended it at the lake. I was wondering, this is a spoiler if you guys have not read the other 3 after books, because spoiler ahead, let me just say. So basically in the other after, what happens in the end is like Hardin started writing this book for Tessa. So I was wondering if that part at the end of the lake scene where he was writing that passage or whatever to her, if that has to relate to the book that he wrote for her later, or if it has nothing to do with each other, or no. But like that's what I was wondering about, if that kind of ties into that book that he's writing later for her. But yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay. So that was basically my comparison between the book and the movie, and now I'm just going to get into the characters. So let's start with all of the characters. I'm just gonna say what I liked about the characters, what I didn't like about the characters, if they related to the book or not, and basically just what I thought about them. So I'm going to start with Tessa's mother. In the book, Tessa's mom definitely seems like evil. So she's really portrayed as like an evil mom. She wants everything to be her way. Like, she kind of wants the best for Tessa, but just wants everything to be her way, and seems really selfish in the book, whereas in the movie she seemed a lot more loving and kind of looking out for Tessa in a way. So like, I kind of liked how they showed her like that in the movie, but in the book she definitely seems a lot different. But also in the book, it might have just been because in the book it's from Tessa's point of view, so she may have just been seeing her mother as selfish and stuff like that because she was just angry at her, and like that was just her point of view, whereas in the movie we're seeing like from like a third point of view. Noah. I think Noah was definitely an exact match for the Noah that was in the book. The only thing would have been in the movie. In the book, he seemed a lot more preppy, kind of like a preppy jock boy, whereas in the movie, he just seemed like a really nice guy, genuinely nice guy. But they definitely did match Noah very well. So for Karen, we don't really see Karen as much in the movie as we do in the first book. She definitely doesn't seem as heartwarming as the Karen that is in the book. A loving mother who will welcome anyone into her home and stuff, and like how she kind of bonds with Tessa, and like they bake together and they work on the greenhouse together and they do a lot of stuff together. In the movie, Tessa doesn't even meet her until the wedding, and then she kind of just brushes Tessa off a bit and kind of just focuses on saying like, oh, I'm glad you came to Hardin and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're gonna develop her more or maybe show those loving moments with Tessa in the second movie, but they definitely didn't really showcase Karen how I thought she would have been in the book in the movie like that. Okay. As for Landon, I definitely loved Landon in the movie. They really matched Landon really well, kind of just like the cute, nice friend and stuff like that. Him and Tessa were really cute together as like best friends. But where's Dakota? In the book, Landon has a girlfriend and her name is Dakota, but in the movie they kind of just did not include Dakota at all. I guess her part wasn't really that big of a deal in the first book, but later her part does become important because, spoiler again if you haven't read the rest of the books, I'm pretty sure Dakota was the one who helped Tessa move to New York, and Landon kind of set that up for her. I'm pretty sure she moved in with Dakota later when she moved to New York. So I don't know if they're gonna include Dakota later. Maybe Landon gets her as a girlfriend later, or they show him with a girlfriend later. I don't know. So as for Jace, I don't know what they did with him in the movie. In the book, he seemed a lot more slimy and creepy and like kind of that guy where you always have your edge on with him because it seems like he's gonna do something or set you up for something. And in the book, Hardin seemed more on edge with him because he's always like, oh, he's that kind of guy that you can never say no to and stuff like that. But in the movie, Jace just seemed like a part of the group, like a regular guy. He kind of had a bit of the weirdish attitude, like when he told Tessa to come meet him by, I don't know, some video game store, and he was in Hardin's car. I'm like, hey, this is creepy. But like, that was the only part where I was like, hey, he's kind of weird. But I don't know, they didn't really show him like that. Yeah, that's my opinion on Jace. Okay, Zed. What happened with Zed in this movie? I am so confused. He is definitely not like what the Zed was in the book, because Zed was a lot more involved in the book. Like, he was involved in the bet. He said he was liking Tessa, wanted to start dating Tessa and stuff like that. And they kind of went on like a couple of dates. Zed was the one who was at the bonfire, all this different stuff. In the movie, he just wasn't really involved at all. He was only in a couple scenes, maybe talked to Tessa like twice. Like, I don't know, he just wasn't really as involved in the movie, and I feel like they kind of cast him to the side. I don't know why that is. Maybe something is supposed to happen later if there's a second movie, but I definitely don't think they really showed Zed at all in the movie. Steph definitely seemed more genuine in the book. It also may have been, again, because it was from Tessa's point of view, and Tessa's really naive and just would have thought Steph was being completely genuine. But in the movie, she seemed a little bit fake. Like, you could tell that, like, she was trying to be nice, but, like, she still had that type of little bit of fake attitude to her. Like, basically, the audience watching, we can see that there's a little hint of, like, she doesn't really give as much of a shit about Tessa as like we thought that she would. Okay, for Molly, she definitely seemed a lot more jealous and bitchy in the movie than evil and bitchy as she did in the book. In the book, she just seemed like really evil. Like, she wasn't really jealous of Tessa and Hardin, more like she just really hated Tessa, and she would do anything to kind of just hate on Tessa and just make her seem little. She didn't really seem like she cared that much about Hardin in the book, but in the movie she kind of seemed more like she wanted Hardin, and that's why she was being more of a bitch to Tessa and like kind of more the more jealous type in the movie. But they definitely showcased Molly really well in the movie. Okay, Tessa. They definitely matched Tessa extremely well in the movie. She was just the perfect example of the type of preppy, have to plan everything, have to get everything done type, all about my books and nerdy-ish type attitude for Tessa. They definitely matched that completely well. I don't really have any complaints about Tessa at all. As for Hardin, they did match Hardin's attitude really well in the movie. They made him seem kind of like witty and cute and kind of mysterious, but also like really dark and like damaged a bit as he is in the book. The funny little scenes that like you would get in the book, they really showed in the movie and made it like cute and funny, and like his type attitude, like even like when they're first in the lake and Tessa's like, who do you love most in the world, and he's like, myself. Like, it's kind of like funny. He just didn't seem as destructive as, I said this before, he didn't seem as destructive as Hardin in the book, which I really think was just a lot better to show in the movie. Okay guys, so overall I definitely love this movie, and I'd say I give it, I'd say a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know how this movie would have seemed to someone who's never read the books, like if it would be a good movie, because I kept thinking, like I just kept watching it and thinking, oh, this is different from the book, this is different from the book, this is different from the book, and maybe that might have just been like how I was critiquing the movie, and that might have ruined it in that sense for me. I definitely loved the movie, but there was just some things that were just completely different and might have been better. Like the bet scene, I feel like I liked how they dimmed it down a bit. They made it less harsh and stuff, but I also feel like they could have made it a little bit more harsh. Like it kind of just seemed like they didn't really show how he really just bet her virginity. Like that's how it was in the book. As in the movie, it just kind of seemed like, oh, I can make her fall in love with me. Like it didn't seem as harsh of an act, which I think is really important for the movie. Also, Zed, I don't know what happened with Zed. They didn't really show Zed as much. Maybe there's a reason for that. We'll see later. Yeah, I think that is definitely my opinion on the movie. I definitely loved it, and I'm going to go watch it again. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning into this video. Please comment down below what your guys' thoughts on the movie was, or what you guys give this movie as a rating. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree with my opinion on the movie. Also, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. This is the Swizzle signing out.